Okay, Bob, guess what? It's been a while, but I thought we ought to chat again.
Okay.
This time, I think we should do another episode of Let's Chat Sales.
Let's chat sales.
Excellent. So this one is, as the title says, nobody cares, right? And this is just a pet peeve. And this is prompted by some work I'm doing with someone where I'm coaching them, and they've got this predisposition for tell them about themselves. And I'm not going to explain who it is, but one of the things I think is nobody cares. When I say nobody cares, I mean nobody really cares about who you are in your bio. And they probably don't even care about your compensation, or they really care about themselves, right?
And how you can help them.
Yeah, exactly. And so when you go off and talk about your bio for 4 or 5 minutes about where you went to school and what you did and your master's in this and blah, 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 you know what? I don't think people care. I don't care.
Do you have a degree from, Brandon?
I want to say it's Phoenix. Is it Phoenix University?
No, it's not.
It's not?
Thank you. And I don't know where you have a degree from. I've never asked. I've never really cared.
I know. See? And what good does it do? And
and we've done business together for years.
Yeah, right. And you learn these things. And the truth of the matter is, if it's really important, you learn about it in the course of the content, in the course of the conversation. And I guess that's my real tip here is if you get on these conference calls or you get on these customer calls with people and they want to go around the room, you want to make your bio really short, 2 sentences. Hey, I'm based in Baltimore. I work with early stage startups and do coaching, and I've got an accelerator. And, Bob, what do you do? And then, say
No one cares.
No one cares. No one cares when you went to school. Certainly nobody's going to care about my GPA, right?
No.
Right?
No.
So
Dean's List 7 out of 8 semesters.
that's right. I never got expelled from college. That's what I would say, right? And
that would actually be interesting.
Yeah, no, well, see, and I guess if you're going to also...
That opens a discovery.
Yes, exactly.
Versus, I took every computer science course available at this university, which is kind of closed.
Yeah, I passed more classes than I failed, right? That sort of thing. I mean, if you're going to do something in your bio, make it sort of self-deprecating or lighthearted, and by all means, brief, because again, as the title points out, nobody cares, right? But if you are going to mention something about it yourself, you do it in conjunction with a comment that someone made. If you're going to share something about your bio, make it pertinent to the conversation that's already happened. So if someone says, oh yeah, we're working with, I don't know, blah, blah, blah in this space, Harvard, then that's your opportunity to mention, oh yeah, I happen to go to Harvard. By the way, for the record, for people here, I didn't go to Harvard.
I didn't either.
Yeah, and I'm probably fooling a lot of you people thinking that I did, but I did not go to Harvard. So anyway, but the point is, right, nobody cares. And here's the thing. So if you're going to weave something like this about your bio into the conversation, when you've been invited in some way as part of the conversation, something comes up where it makes sense for you to mention that you went to Harvard or you played football or that you graduated magna cum laude. I can't imagine a situation where you wouldn't do that. If someone says, my son's applying to Harvard, then you can say, oh, I went to Harvard. Maybe I might be, if I can help in any way, answer questions, then that's sort of useful. Now you're being useful.
Or sometimes someone will mention the city.
Yeah, right.
You can say, oh, I went to school there.
Yeah.
Oh, which school did you go to?
Yeah,
I went to Wisconsin. Oh, okay, great. That's a great school. And then you move on.
Yeah. If it's not Harvard.
You go to the pizza shop right down the street and all that. Because you're really taking time away from what you're trying to do, which is prove to them that you can solve their problem.
Right. And then finally, on this topic, and this is going to be another quick one, but this nobody cares thing is actually a good thing to just keep in your head whenever you're talking about anything regarding to sales. And that is, does this really matter to them? Do they really care? Do they really care about a given feature? And you might even ask them, hey, we do these things, blah, 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 A, B, C. Did any of these matter to you? And if they say, oh, A does and C does, then don't talk about B. Or you might ask them a question, oh, B is kind of interesting, and here's why. Does that matter? And then you might be able to test it a little bit to see if, capability B is of interest. But basically, use this as a general rule, and that is, when you're talking to customers, when you're talking to anybody, really, does it matter? Do they care about this topic? Can you make it interesting enough that they do care, right? Here's why you might want to care.
Feedback, right?
Right.
You do see it in their faces. You do see it when they start looking down from the screen on Zoom.
Right. Right.
And
Exactly.
most of the time, what I'm surprised by is how many times people don't realize those cues.
Right. Right. And yeah, so
Or the person starts going like this.
yeah, this is a little bit being self-aware, but it's a very specific form of self-awareness, and that is you're constantly asking yourself, is this important? Is what I'm talking about important to them? And will they care if I share it? If you can look at yourself and examine that topic and the situation really with a cold eye, it's going to serve you really well, because at some point you're going to be able to figure out, oh, I'm talking about stuff that doesn't matter to them. And then you know what you do? You stop doing that, right?
Right.
Because it's not advancing the conversation. It's not developing trust. It's probably developing some level of distrust. Hey, these guys are talking about things that
And
bore the crap out of me. Distraction, exactly. You're losing their engagement because now you're talking about something. And by the way, this specifically talking about a lot of sports analogies or sports examples for people that are not into sports. Do they care about sports? Probably not. And if they don't, then why are you bringing up this that you played football or that you or the analogy about golf or something like that? Because if they don't play golf, it either doesn't make any sense or they don't care. It's certainly not going to engage them, right?
Right. So, Brendan, before we go, I think we've beaten that one up pretty well. You got a movie recommendation for us?
Oh, what do we like? All right. So the Middle East is always still a big thing, right?
Okay.
It's still, and this is a little old, but it's
3,000 years. So,
yes,
I hope you get this in soon because it might end.
Yes. Well, we'll see. Maybe we'll tackle that. See if we can fix that in one upcoming episode. Well, it's specifically about Saudi Arabia and our relationship with Saudi Arabia, and it's called Syriana, and it's with George Clooney and Matt Damon and some other people.
Who's the woman?
Who is the woman? I want to see who's Ben Affleck's ex-wife.
Oh, you got.
Anyway,
how do you spell Syriana?
Syriana. And so anyway, Riana. And it's 10 or 15 years old. But here's the thing. It is an excellent explanation of our relationship with Saudi Arabia and oil and how complicated it is. And it actually does a really good job of explaining why 9/11 happened without coming out and explaining 9/11. But it's a really good story. And it makes you smarter about the history and the geopolitical dynamic of the Middle East. So that's my recommendation. And of course, if you have comments. Amanda Pete's in it. That's it. Yes. That's not
Christopher Plummer. Always great when
William Hurt's in it. William Hurt's in it.
Yep. Matt Damon, Jeffrey Wright, Mr. Wright to the women. They're all looking for him. Chris Cooper, Tim Blake Nelson. I can't believe you just laughed.
Oh, that's a good one. It's a good one, Mr. Wright. All right. So this is it. How's that? That's a good one. All right.
That's a good one.
All right. We should do this again, Bob.
I would love to.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. See you, man.
Okay, that was another episode of Let's Chat Sales, a quick one, of course, and I hope it was helpful. And if it was, please like and subscribe, and more importantly, share it with your friends. There should be something right here you could point to and click on and try that out. It should be good. It's probably good. Certainly short. It's probably helpful. And thanks for listening or watching.